My name is Xavier Vaesau, and I'm the middle school intern for Three Crosses. Growing up, I was a family of 4 boys, a mom and a dad that was never there. My dad fell in love with my mom, had me, but my father still had this drug addiction. Mom and dad divorced when I was 2, and at the time we were on welfare, and my mom was working 2 jobs to get us out. And my dad's side of the family came from a rough area in San Francisco called Hunters Point, which is the projects, and my mom didn't want that for her boys. She worked real hard to get us out, just always trying to avoid the drug pieces that she's seen in her life and the drug abuse that my dad was involved in. I just remember in middle school, she picked up a second job, and we wouldn't see her for 32 hours or whatever the case is. It'd be a day at work and a day at night and then another day at work, and you just never see your mom. When we were kids, we used to play football on the concrete and scrapes and bruises, but it was always fun, and that's where my passion for football really started. So freshman year, something that my mom has worked hard for was to avoid us from seeing the drug use. But I just made mistakes and got involved with the wrong crew and started using them. And sophomore year rolls around, and I don't remember much from sophomore year. I was so involved in it. I just remember taking so many pills, and sometimes I just black out and pass out, and woke up and I was just like, I can't believe I'm still here, you know. And I just go on to live another day, and started stealing a lot of prescription drugs, started stealing other people's drugs, and started trying to make money off it. We didn't have money growing up, and we enjoyed Jell-O, which was cheap, and I remember just wearing the same shirt I had in 6th grade all the way till I was a freshman in high school, and it was either blacking out or selling the freezer bag that I had, and it always left me just empty-handed and just seeking something that just wasn't fulfilling, and it would soon catch up to me. One night, me and my brother got in an argument, and none of the family was there, and we ended up fighting it out, and after the fight, I ended up just dipping and just running away from home. After that fight, I hit a party and sold all my drugs that I had, and ended up stealing them from the party also, and just was being a bum for the next couple of days until I ended up going back to school. Got caught at the school because somebody had reported that I had a freezer bag of pills, and roll up to the office, and I still had the ones that I stole, and I just ended up getting caught in the office with everyone there. My mom shows up, and this is the first time my mom realizes that I've been using and I've been selling. They started reading off a whole lot of different things, a couple felonies, a misdemeanor for possession and intent to sell, and then possession on school property and selling to minors, and something about 3 to 10 years in prison, and not being trialed as a juvenile but as an adult, and all these things are getting thrown at me, and I just don't know what to think. By the grace of God, school decided it wasn't going to press charges. Instead of like 3 to 10 years in prison, I ended up just getting 4-day suspension. I decided to just really start pursuing working hard at football, and was good at it. Ended up taking a new position, running back, and enjoyed it a lot, did very well at it, and it just was excited just to score touchdowns, work with the team, and win games. I'm all about winning, and my grades weren't good enough to go off and play at another school, so I ended up going to junior college. So I came to Three Crosses late 2012. I got plugged in to Praxis, which is the college group here. Fell in love with it. I would soon meet a girl, and started thinking she was the one, and started pursuing her. After my seasons at Chabot, I had offers coming from tons of places, and I was excited to go to a certain school in Kentucky, and a lot of money and a lot of fame that kind of just went with it, and a lot of pride, and I ended up not being able to have the good grades to get into it, and it kind of rocked me, so I ended up taking the easy way out and going off to a school off in Kansas that's like my second option. And I go there expecting to play, and what ends up happening is that my grades were so bad that I couldn't even play there. And I sent out that season, and I come back, and I'm excited for the next season to come, and ends up coming down to the last day of practice, and I just made the wrong plant and put my arm down, and my arm bent backwards, and I tore like the ligament in my elbow and all these other things. And so I ended up coming back home and seeking marriage with this gal, and as I presented to her, she just said no, and ended up breaking up with me. At that moment, it was just kind of like I lost the two most important things in my life. During this time, I wrote a poem just kind of to God, and it was questioning God's faithfulness. And during this time, I'm like, God, where are you? I just felt betrayed. Just felt that God just didn't love me. And at the time that I think that I'm pursuing the right thing, God snatches away from me. It was rough. It was a rough time in my life. So last year, after all this happened, I was just being a bum, and luckily for me, the youth pastor here invited me out to come out to Hume Lake Summer Camp to be a youth leader. And I remember going to summer camp and just being a different type of passion that came into my life, of just being excited for these kids. And my heart was being molded just as their heart was being molded. And I can't explain what the change was from saying I hate you, God, to my heart saying, God, you're there, and that I know that you're there, and I want to love you. God is faithful. So right after the summer camp, I had a blast, and all of a sudden I ended up working here and being the middle school intern and investing in these kids' lives, and just started coaching over at this local high school, and just been excited for working in kids' lives and helping them see that there's something so much more into life than just what's presented to them. Something somebody told me was that God's wrath is you getting what you want, and knowing that that would separate you for eternity away from Him. And God's love is saving you from something that you do want that would eventually lead you to destruction. And I can constantly remind myself that God loves me because of the things that He's put me through, that He needed to put those things in my life to draw me back to Him.